Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, Holiday Inn Express, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn, Russell Street Report, the original Green Turtle, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
Come see us at Blue Ox.
And welcome back in. It is the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show, broadcasting from the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City, in the beautiful Ravens room. Mike Bradley from 105.7 The Fan, Bobby Vermillion, host of a million golf shows. You know Papo, owner of the Green Turtle, and Steve Slaza, Ravens Roost 44 member, former coach, and big Ravens fan as well. Hey, the Ravens Wrap Show, of course, brought to you by our friends at the original Green Turtle, the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, our friends at Bud Light, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Geico, the Ocean City Golf Club, jctickets.net, and Holiday Inn Express. It is that portion of the program where we turn the program over to the floor for any questions that we have, and Miss Marr's got a question for her, as always, so we're ready to go. What you have for us?
Okay, my question is, we come out like gangbusters, and this has happened not only in this last game, but games before, and then we sit on it. Now, I blame the offensive coach for that. We get behind, but one of these times it's going to come back to bite us. And fortunately, we've won the games. And the other is, we make them quarterbacks look great standing back there all day waiting to throw.
I think you're exactly right. It's extremely frustrating. And this week was a good example, because if you looked at Flacco, he was getting pressure. Yeah. Brandon Weeden stood back there like a statue at times. And I think if we gave Joe Flacco that kind of time, he'd be much more effective. Oh, yeah. And so that's a great point. And the $1 million question, I think, for Ravens fans, your other point is why? Why can we look so good at times and then look so bad at other times? I mean, the game against Cincinnati, we look great. And most of the home games on offense, we look great. And then we can go to Kansas City, and then we can look bad for, 2 quarters in Cleveland. And they're trying to figure that out as well. People want to talk about it on the road, but Joe's had some really good games on the road. He had a good game in New England. He's played well in Pittsburgh. So I don't necessarily always buy into that. Obviously, you're always more comfortable at home. The road's a tough place to play, but you got to believe they're going to try to figure that out. And the good news is we've been able to win most of those games.
I'll let both Steves expand on this. I think the one thing, though, when you talk about the offense and sitting on it, I think we have to be careful with not confusing that with lack of execution. Because John Harbaugh was criticized at the end of the first half with about 1:17 left, throwing the ball 3 straight times, and that didn't work out, and then Cleveland got the ball back, and he said, look, I'm trying to score there, et cetera. I'm trying to be aggressive. So, give Cleveland some credit, too, for shutting us down a little bit. I don't know that we were sitting on it, but we weren't executing, though. So we certainly, at 14-9, I don't think there's any way we were trying to sit on it.
No, I think it just looked that way because we couldn't get anything done. I don't think we were trying, going conservative or anything like that, but we just couldn't get a first down.
I think Cameron finally called a pretty good game. Problem I think we had was our offensive line in the second, third quarters. They weren't opening the holes up. Ray Rice was running into a wall and bouncing backwards. Well, but they got.
I agree, I was actually one of the guys I was watching the game with said, "Why do we keep trying to run up the middle? Run to the outside, run Ray Rice to the outside." That's exactly what we did in the fourth quarter, and we had success.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to say. That's a great point because we probably run more off guard or off center than any team in the league. I mean, we don't ever run off tackle. I mean, we always run, you've got a back that's good. I mean, I understand why you run a little guy like that over the center or over the guard, but that's where the majority of our running plays are.
But he gets a lot of big plays from that, too.
Yeah,
he gets his
back.
20, 30-yard gains from running inside.
Well, and part of it, too, and without getting too technical with the zone blocking scheme that they have, it gives the running back the ability to choose which hole he has. And sometimes he doesn't have one at all, and sometimes Ray Rice tries to make something out of nothing when it's there. But you're right, getting the outside him in space with his speed, it's always good play.
I think the bigger thing was, when they come out, that's the game plan. That's what you spent all week doing. Where they have trouble is after the first quarter, Cleveland made the adjustment. We don't make adjustments to the other team's adjustments. If they make an adjustment, it's almost like Cam thinks it's an indictment of his game plan to make an adjustment.
Well, I don't know if that's the case or not, but that certainly could be. Again, if you're trying to look at the glass half full, the other bright spot in the offense has to be Bernard Pierce. Here's a guy that every time he touches the ball, he looks dynamic. And, we heard Steve Bisciotti talk about it a few weeks ago. They were prepared to walk away from Ray Rice if they couldn't get him signed because they really were high on Bernard Pierce.
Yeah.
So we, as a Ravens
fan, traded up for him.
They traded up for him. There's a reason they did that. They didn't go with a veteran. This guy has played well. He's a great change of pace back. And if we can move the chains and we can create and get first downs and we can get time of possession, he's going to get more carries along with Ray Rice, and it's going to make our passing game better. So as a bright spot moving forward, that's what we have to do. And one of the other things in the game, in the NFL, it's all about matchups. It's like a boxing match. Sometimes you match up or a wrestling match. Sometimes you match up with different teams better than others. And, we kind of match up with the Pittsburgh Steelers pretty well. We always have good fights there. Some teams, whether it's Joe Thomas with Suggs, you don't know what the matchups are going to be. You never know what you're going to get in the NFL. And this is a good example this week because we're going to play an Oakland team that we really aren't that familiar with. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Everybody's putting a W up on the board already because they struggled. They did beat the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, although it was in Oakland.
And we'll talk about that coming up. They also played another really good opponent on their home turf down to the wire in that as well. Another, I think, bright spot from the game offensively, Anquan Bolden got off to a really fast start. I think he had 4 catches in the first quarter. And granted, he didn't have another catch, I believe, until the fourth quarter, guys. But that was a huge catch that he had. He's kind of had his way against the Browns, especially at home this year. He had a huge game on Thursday night.
I'm going to agree with Steve about sometimes offensive coaches and defensive coaches, they get into a pattern. They work all week, let's get to this, this is what we're going to do. It reminds me of, I'm a history buff, so, back in World War I with the trenches, the English guy used to blow the whistle and everybody would go up, they'd all get shot, they'd come back. He'd blow the whistle again, they'd all go up, come back, get shot. And they'd say, but that's our game plan, that's what we're going to do. That's sometimes how I feel Cameron is. Just let's keep doing it because this is my game plan and I'm not going to sway from it. Whether we win or lose, this is how we're going to go down. The thing that I didn't understand is, this is the Ravens' best kept secret, and we haven't even talked about it tonight, is Vontae Leach. Yeah. How come we don't throw to him a little bit more? He always, because no one ever expects him to come out of the backfield and catch the ball because he's always blocking. Why don't we throw to him a little bit more and then open it up, and then they got to watch out for Ray Rice. It's something that I'd like to see more of. Vontae Leach getting involved in the offense.
I like watching him block more than I like him to catch the ball.
I mean, I bet you if you look at his percentage of catches and drops, he's probably got one of the best percentages on the team.
He's a very good catching fullback.
He's underrated. And he's caught the ball more playing for the Ravens than he has his whole career, correct?
I'll tell you this. A lot of times Pat Kerwin, who's on the NFL, on Sirius NFL Radio, wrote a book, Take Your Eye Off the Ball. And if you're watching Ravens games or watching a football game, sometimes it's hard to do that. But if you want to really see a guy put the hammer on some people, just isolate yourself on Vontae Leach on running plays. I mean, he just mauls people. He just blows up linebackers, defensive linemen. This guy is a really, really good football player.
I don't know if it was a corner or a safety. If you saw the play, if you remember the play, there was a corner safety that came up on a running play to the outside. and here comes Vontae Leach. He literally curled up on the ground, wanting no part of Vontae Leach coming at him, so he didn't have to take a direct hit. I mean, that tells you all you need to know. But Vontae Leach is mean, he's nasty, and he'll go after anybody. And he's the perfect right. We talk about Bernard Pollard coming over, Mr. Defense there, Mr. Raven, fitting the profile. Vontae Leach, another former Houston Texan, fits that profile.
But you got to love a guy who they put his helmet in the trophy case at one winning drive because he blew up his helmet against Pittsburgh. I mean, you talk about people that are Ravens when they're playing for other teams. Both he and Bernard Pollard were Ravens long before they got here.
You know, interesting thing, and I listened on the radio to Cam's press conference, or interview, I should say, with Stan White afterwards, and he talked about Cleveland, and they played a lot of cover 2, and then at the end, they were playing some cover 1, and that gave us the ability to throw the ball to Anquan Bolden and Torrey Smith, who ended up getting a touchdown to give us the lead after we were down 16-15. But one thing we got him involved a little bit early in the season, but not enough. Jacoby Jones, I mean, was that vertical threat I kept talking about opposite Torrey Smith. Look, we've broken cover 2 defenses before. Now that Torrey Smith's on the team, the Bengals cover 2 hasn't been a problem for us anymore with the 2 deep safeties. I'm wondering where he is, and it was kind of telling because John Harbaugh in his press conference on Monday said that we need to get some of these guys involved, Jacoby Jones, some other guys. We need to get them on the field more, Tandon Doss. So I don't know if that in a way is saying, hey, Cam needs to get some more guys involved. He also did say as well the tight ends can do a lot better job. I think that's less on Dennis Pitta and more on Ed Dixon. He said the tight ends, he came right out and said the tight ends can be more productive. That's in quotes.
But it's hard to be productive if you're not making first downs. And you're losing the time of possession each and every week. And that's why the Ravens, Jacoby Jones, he's non-existent sometimes. Anquan Bolden may get 4 catches and you don't see him for the rest of the game. It's kind of strange, but in these games, if you look at the time of possession, the Ravens just don't have the football. So there's only one football, so Rice isn't going to get his carries, or your tight ends aren't going to be involved, or your receivers. So I think if the offense is more productive and can make some first downs, move the chains, because that was one of the problems this week as well. Cleveland got great field position, and the Ravens had horrible field position for most of the game.
Yeah, it's that no-huddle offense, too. And they love that no-huddle offense. Flacco really likes it because he can catch defenses off, and he likes throwing the ball. He doesn't like, necessarily handing it off to the backs as much as he should.
Oh, no quarterback would.
Right.
I didn't.
Yeah, but they go in that no huddle, and now they're thinking pass all the time. They got to mix it up a little bit. I think Cameron. I didn't play football in college, so I'm not a great offensive coach for football. But man, a common sense guy. I played a lot of sports. I mean, I think you throw everything you have and mix it all up. Try changing some things up. Cameron is just way too, predictable. I think he's too predictable.
That's my biggest thing, and we talked about the no huddle is, coming out, you're passing the ball. It's
right.
like, okay, well then,
no matter what you're passing,
half of you're giving away. Your best athlete is your running back, and Vontae Leach, who is the fullback who only played 14 plays against Houston. Those guys are either not being productive or they're not on the field to even be productive.
Well, I don't necessarily say that just because you're going no huddle that you're not going to run the ball. You can, and Vontae Leach.
Oh, you definitely can.
Yeah, but 70-80% of the time you're passing the ball on a no huddle.
True, but you can still mix in the right. It seems like we're almost
but we
exclusive
don't.
pass. No, I agree with that.
Oh, you're talking about a regular team just going out.
I mean, New England's a great example. They run the ball a lot out of the no huddle now.
Yeah. Guys, we got to wrap up this segment. Great conversation. We're going to preview the upcoming game against the Raiders next. It's the Ravens Wrap Show on Comcast Speech TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio. Home of the Ravens, 93.5 The Beach. We're back next.
Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, Holiday Inn Express, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn, Russell Street Report, the original Green Turtle, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.